Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Right here, I will presenting how improve communication skill by joining my webinar. Let's think first. Let me show you a short video, maybe to first opening for this presentation. Okay, here you go. Right. So, why should we improve our communication skill? Have you ever been ignored when you spoke? I'm sure you've been ignored when you talk. Right? In this age, almost all human can talk about anything. I mean, the topic on social media, but not all human can speak clearly and hear by many people. Then this is why I invite you to join this webinar. I will give you some reason why I invite you to join this webinar. Okay, first reason, I will tell you how important communication is. How important is it to improve communication skill at this time? And second reason, I will explain tips and tricks on how to communicate properly and correctly when you join this webinar, obviously, right? And finally, you will get an e-certificate insight into science of communication and relation. Yes, of course, relation. Next, to the next slide. And now, why communication is important? This is the first reason, right? The first reason communication is important is according to Onong Uchiana Effendi in the book of Science, Theory and Philosophy. This communication has several important meanings. Whenever it is a communication, we can convey information, which is if we miss communication, it can be hoax information, right? And communication can entertain someone. Easy. It can make jokes like stand-up comedian assembly, right? But if we don't compose the diction in stand-up or in we communicate to audience, it can be jokes like funny at all. And the last one, communication can manipulate someone or many people, influence. That's why if you see a YouTuber content creator brain and brainwashing or um, content creator rebranding her product, it's simple communication manipulate or influence, and it's obvious that communication skills are important, right? And the second reason why communication is important is we we will give you some trick and tips how communication. In we are have to separate ways, right? And offline and online. But in here, communication when face to face or offline, or on social media is only 45 degrees difference, where when we communicate face to face, there are several rules for correct and clear communication so that you deal with you. So you will be seen more seriously and will be heard by other person, right? And tips on how deal with your many interruption or other people like the videos previously, it can make us nervous, right? Like right, the kid, remember that? And speech become messy, not just the text in our mind, but the how we pronounce in it. In this webinar, we will discuss all this problem and provide solution. Not to mention that we can talk on social media, which we can assume for ourselves that the audience on social media is more wider, attract them with what social media universe is passionate about. That's why I invite you to join this webinar and give you some tips and tricks how to face it in social media or offline. And the final reason is why you should join this webinar. Why you should join this webinar? Why? Because you get an e-certificate. Why you should have a certificate? It's no communication relationship, and you have insight. And if you ask why you must have that, I mean 3 point of that, you can attach your e-certificate on CV when you apply the job, right? And it can add your self-worth with the knowledge you have acquired this in this webinar. You can immediately put into practice in your daily life, and I guarantee it will work. The relationship you can get in this webinar is also not long-winded. You can make friends of them, various fields of education or from various agencies with very trusted resource. And the conclusion for this presentation is communication is important. Even though we communicate via online or offline, it will still be an important aspect, right? We still cannot eliminate our communicate about or communicate can entertain, provide information, and it can influence someone. In addition, the importance of rule in our communication when offline or offline also affect our delivery. In this way, and as the host or as webinar, I invite you to this webinar. So, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.